But I guess the first question I'd have to ask of the appropriators on this committee is, why are we actually here today? What is our role now as appropriators? In the last 6 months, we've seen President Trump propose a dramatic diminishment in the power of this committee and of the Congress. Now, we as the Democrats are in the minority. We don't expect to have a lot of power, but for all of us on this Appropriations Committee, why are we here? And what is our role now as appropriators? You know, everyone is so fond of saying there are Republicans and Democrats and appropriators, but really, are there appropriators anymore? Do we actually have a role in this Congress, and do we have any more power? Last week, the majority passed the rescissions package through the House, the Senate, back to the House again. And that bill eliminated spending that we had negotiated over the prior years. The hard work that we do every day in this committee, the hard work you're doing right now, the snacks that you eat, the candy that's going into your mouth, the amount of time that we take, that is all gone when we pass a rescissions bill. And how will it be any different once we pass this bill or the other bills we intend to pass this week? I truly appreciate Chairman Cole's efforts to have this committee work through these bills and pass these bills. But the question is, what are we doing? And do we have any power left anymore? Now, this bill, like so many others, will continue the damage and the cuts that this president has done over the first 6 months of his presidency. I believe what he has done is illegal, these funding freeze and rescissions, and the compound damage he has done to our agencies and our states and communities is something we will be dealing with for years. This bill in particular at the EPA cuts the funding to the states for water infrastructure by 62%, cuts grant programs that fund our state environmental programs, and slashes the EPA by 23%. Nobody benefits when we make those levels of cuts. Our states still have to do the work of water infrastructure, of permitting. And the cuts in this bill, coupled with the rescissions in the big ugly bill, will debilitate America's ability to address the climate crisis, or to address our infrastructure needs, or to make sure our vital needs in our states of permitting will be enacted. This presidency, this administration is no longer just in denial. It is actively dismissing the government's climate work and our vital environmental work. And this is work that needs to be done if we want to make sure we have a planet to hand over to our children and grandchildren. Now, at the National Park Service, this bill cuts $213 million. And this is in addition to what happened in the big ugly bill, where nearly $500 million was rescinded from our national parks and our public lands. This is money that's meant to go to conservation projects and habitat restoration, and critical staffing at our national parks. This is our vital season for national parks, and Americans want to be there. And it is all compounded because we have not reauthorized the Great American Outdoors Act, which is another $1.3 billion that should be going for the maintenance backlog. This bill also funds the arts, but what a mess this administration has made of that. It was appalling to watch this administration illegally terminate thousands of grants at the NEA and the NEH. They fired nearly 80% of the NEH staff, and they revoked funding for our State Humanities Council. This is money that's meant to go to our communities, to our artists and workers, to kids in rural schools, to local economies that rely on cultural institutions and that don't have a lot of other sources for funding. They've cut the Smithsonian by 12%, the National Gallery by 11%. By cutting these funds and sidelining anything that they deem artistically and culturally offensive, they are gutting our arts and cultural institutions. I am relieved, and I'm grateful to the chair of the subcommittee and the full committee that funding for tribal programs didn't suffer the same cuts. And I appreciate that bipartisan cooperation and understanding of our treaty and trust obligation. This bill also has 72 poison pill riders going after environmental protection, undermining our climate policies, and adding to our deficit. And overall, these cuts will only contribute to our struggling agencies. At the same time, while this administration is redirecting funds to tax cuts and increasing our deficit by $3.4 trillion. So I just want to go back to ending as I started this opening. OMB Director Vogt has promised to send us more rescission packages. Each time we pass a rescission package, we wipe out all the hard work we do negotiating in this committee. He said he's looking to change the paradigm in appropriations, and that appropriations has to be less bipartisan. When's the last time one of your constituents came up to you and said, you people should be less bipartisan. You people should fight more, bicker more, and do less of what we ask you to do? How often do you hear that? Now, we're appropriators, and we're all proud to get to this moment when we actually get to serve on this committee. So let's do our job. Let's be appropriators, and let's fight back for the power that goes to this committee and to our Congress. I encourage you to oppose this bill, unfortunately, and I yield back my time.